A wonderful good day. Welcome to this webinar presented by Euroimmune. My name is Oliver Senscheid and I'm today's moderator. Today we're going to do something different as compared, for instance, to the last two webinars. Initially, we looked at disease states, for instance, with the neurology and in autoimmunity. In the second webinar, we looked at some revolution happening in the field of diagnosis of dermatophytes, fungal infections of skin, hair, and nail. But this time around, we will be taking a step back. So we will be looking at the foundation of something that concerns the diagnostic applications regarding indirect immunofluorescence assays, short IFA. Hence the title of our talk, Automation and Artificial Intelligence in Diagnostic IFA Microscopy using EUROPattern. And in fact, IFA goes back a long time, has a very strong history, goes back a couple decades at this point, and ANA, anti-nuclear antibodies, are obviously the most and commonly known analytes that people look at, but there is so much more to IFA, and still to that day, it's an essential building block of successful autoimmune laboratories globally. Our speaker today will take you on a tour, on a journey through history. We'll share some success stories and challenges on how they were tackled and successfully overcome, some visions that were realized, and he will also explain some practical and very cutting-edge solutions that make IFA automation at this point in time the most efficient, capable, and convenient than it has ever been before. Speaking of our speaker, to me personally, our speaker today is the perfect embodiment of the developments in this arena over the last decade or so, because he's a computer scientist by training, and he combines this skill set with his passion for diagnostics. So I'm talking about Dr. Konstantin Enz. He studied computer sciences at the University of Lübeck in Germany and obtained his PhD on imaging processing at Philips Research in Hamburg in Germany. Equipped with his highly relevant expertise, he started as project manager at Euroimmune in Lübeck in Germany in 2009. His focus initially was artificial intelligence and image processing for EUROPattern, the software behind the revolutionary EUROPattern microscope that you will be hearing about later on. And since 2014, he's product manager for automation software solutions at Euroimmune, and his portfolio responsibilities include microscopy, random access automation solutions for the diagnostic laboratories. Before we jump right into it, there's just one more housekeeping item I want to get out of the way. In case you have any questions during the presentation or right after it, please post it in the chat box right here, and I'll make sure that we answer as many of your questions as possible so that you can go home and with a well-rounded idea of what we wanted to talk about to you today. So with that, Dr. Enz, the stage is all yours. I'm very much looking forward to your presentation, and go ahead.
Thank you, Oliver. Hello, everybody. I'm Konstantin Enz, Product Manager for Automation by Euroimmune, and I'm very, very happy and proud to present you our vision about automation and artificial intelligence in diagnostic immunofluorescence microscopy using EUROPattern. In first step, I would like to introduce you Euroimmune and give you a short overview about our company. Euroimmune is a part of the Peck&Elmer holding, and Peck&Elmer is an American global corporation focused in the business areas of diagnostic, life science research, food and industrial testing. Its capabilities include detection, image, informatics, and service. Peck&Elmer introduced analytical instruments, genetic testing, and diagnostic tools, medical imaging components, software, and consumables for multiple end markets. Euroimmune was founded in 1987 as GmbH, meaning company with limited liability. 2002, we are changed to stock corporation. Since 2018, integrate in Peck&Elmer holding. Our business field is in vitro diagnostic for autoantibody diagnostic, infection serology, allergy, antigen detection, veterinary, molecular diagnostic, and automation. Our headquarters is in north of Germany, in Lübeck, and I'm here now. And our subsidiaries in Germany are in Dachau, Rennersdorf, and Pegnitz, and we are internationally acting and large company with subsidiaries worldwide, like Poland, UK, USA, Canada, South Africa, and so on. We have more than 55 distributors and more than 2,000 laboratories in 150 countries use our product. We are innovative and have huge scientific experience. We offer all relevant technologies in the most important diagnostic fields, have full control on the production cycle, and can react to the market quickly and flexibly. We offer everything from one hand, from assay via automation solution and software. And now I would like to introduce you our automation and software. But before I start, I would like to introduce you also our product management team for automation. On the left side, you can recognize my picture. And here you can see our boss, Dr. Panagiotis Gripiotis, Timo Schutze, Dr. Anna Stanisak, and Lars Warnecke. And we are taking care of all our solutions, automation solutions that you can find here. Here you see different columns for different techniques. On the left side, immunofluorescence technique, here ELISA technique, CLIA, immunoblots, microarray technique, molecular diagnostic, but also software solution for laboratory management system, like EUROPattern and EUROPattern 4.0. Our focus now is on immunofluorescence technique, and like already described, we just give you a device or reagents, we give you solutions for small and medium-sized laboratories, like here, with everything included, but also for big laboratories, like here. Now, I would like also to give you a short motivation why automation for immunofluorescence is so important. The immunofluorescence microscopy setup in most laboratories is cumbersome. The microscope is often located in the darkroom. An automatic microscopy can avoid this darkroom, help to accelerate the assay evaluation. Also, the immunofluorescence technique is very subjective. Here in the picture, 3 different technicians look to the same image and have 3 different diagnoses. Specklet, specklet not nucleoli, or maybe fine specklet, titawide 2000, 1 to 320, or maybe 1 to 3200. All of them have different microscope, have different experience. For this reason, it's also different diagnosis. An automatic microscopy and pattern proposal can help to recognize very similar patterns and give you objective pattern interpretations. It means you will also have objective in the diagnostic. The last example for the motivation presented here in these 2 images. First should be negative, and second should be very positive, but maybe you are not sure, because without automation you have no guarantee about quality of the results. And the first image could be incubated with under the wrong condition, for example, without conjugate, and the second image could have unspecific fluorescence. An automatic microscopy and pattern proposal can help you also in this case, and I will explain how it works. And now I'm happy to show you the first product, EUROPattern microscope. It's not just one product, it's already a product family, and we are since 2019 on the market with this product family. And this microscope, it's also a world champion. The world champion in speed in image acquisition. This system needs just 13 seconds for image, and this is very, very fast for immunofluorescence. Now about other details of this microscope, we have 2 cameras on the top. The first one is for diagnostic relevant fit channel. The second one is for counter staining. We have barcode reader to give you traceability of all your results. All our slides have also barcode, and we check it in incubation device and microscope and know exactly which position have which samples on the slide. And 2 kinds of manual control for live microscopy, different kind of objectives inside. CLED, I will explain this point a little bit later. It's very, very important key feature in our system. And shock absorbing fit. It means you can put your microscope close to the incubation system, or in normal lab environment, your images will be always sharp. The last point, the oculars. For this system, it's also optional available. A very big key feature for this system is total capacity. You see here a stacker with a place for up to 500 fields, and you can put two kinds of different slides inside, up to 10 field slides and up to 50 field slides, like here. Also very important, our focusing in EUROPattern microscope 1.5 is in transmission light. We're looking for a structure like here, nucleus and nucleoli. And based on the structure, we find the correct focus position without bleaching. It means images like this will be produced not by our system. Our system gives you always the first fluorescence. Now I would like to introduce you fluorescence standard in CLT. Based on the fluorescence standard for EUROPattern microscope, we create a new dimension for standardization in immunofluorescence microscopy. This innovative technology with patent application allow the light intensity to be analyzed over the entire light path here. For this, the functionalities of all optical components are checked, the transmission of the objective, the filters, but also the video adapter and the efficiency of green channel camera and excitation of the CLD. With this technology, it's possible to check all the changes and balanced by a calibration with unrivaled accuracy. In this way, the fluorescence image of all calibrated EUROPattern microscope present in the same signal intensity. Some older devices don't have this fluorescence standard in the microscope inside. For these devices, you can use also mobile fluorescence standard, like here in image. This system, EUROPattern microscope 1.5, it's already worldwide established. We have more than 500 installations, and now I just give you a very short overview about our big customers. One of them is Brazil laboratory Pardini. It's among the third most important Brazilian laboratories regarding volume of analysis and revenues, and use our products for more than 4,000 samples per day. You see this day volume of the samples. And here you can find a picture of the laboratory with two microscopes and several incubation systems. Other examples is the largest clinical laboratory chain in the world, LabCorp in the USA. Also, LabCorp use our system in 8 different sites for more than 2,100 samples per day. In the last examples, maybe one of the biggest laboratory worldwide that use BML in Japan that use 5 microscopes, you can see it here on the picture, for 8,000 wells per day. These and other stories, success stories, you can find in our blog. And now I would like to take you to the time travel with me. We will go to 2016. 2016, EUROIMMUN was already a market leader, and for the computer-aided diagnostic with EUROPattern worldwide. These examples, Pardini and BML and LabCorp, was already realized. In 2015, 1 year before, the EUROPattern system was the first computer-aided diagnostic system for the immunofluorescence, who received an USA FDA clearance. So 2016, we was already presented in several laboratories in USA, and the classifier for ANCA and ANCA were already available. In the same year, 2016, the owner of the EUROIMMUN, Professor Dr. Winfried Stöcker, you can find this picture of Winfried Stöcker here, has an idea and wrote his idea in an email to all our department leader. He asked for new version, designed for few slides, something for customer with low sales potential, And at the same time, our engineers have already worked on a new laser-based autofocusing methods. And it was a logical step to combine Winfried's idea with the current development. And 1 year later, 2017, in Lübeck by National Sales Meeting, the first concept for the new microscope was already presented. This microscope looks like a 3D drawing, but the images obtained with this prototype impressed with their brilliance and sharpness. 1 year later, 2018, during the symposium on autoantibody in Dresden, Saxony, we were able to present a poster, a presentation with a video showing how fast and well the system works. We gather a lot of positive feedback from potential customers, and even then it was clear that the new system would be significantly faster than manual reading and than all solutions available on the market, and can therefore be described as a real game changer for the immunofluorescence microscopy. 2019, the connection to the oral apophysis, here you see it in the computer on the left side, has been realized and the design almost finalized. The system was featured in a webinar and several exhibitions, including Medica in Düsseldorf. And now, I'm happy and proud to present you our final product, an automatic immunofluorescence microscope with light-proof housing suited to all spatial and light conditions. Device that takes less than 2 seconds to change the position, focusing and image acquisition, and has an excellent support from the EUROPattern for the evaluation, entry, and any archiving of the result. The new system can be also perfectly used for the live immunofluorescence microscopy, and is already being applied very successfully for the purpose in the EUROIMMUN Academy for the education of our customers. Maybe if you will visit us, you can also work with the system in our academy. The intuitive touchscreen user interface on the monitor allows the user to zoom into the picture, pinch to zoom, or change the position of the displayed image section during live microscopy. Even microscopy work in the past is thus possible without requiring a discussion tube. Other very important advantage of EUROPattern Microscope Live is the fluorescence standardization for all devices worldwide. In the green cycle, you can see the already described fluorescence standard, which helps us to set all devices to one unique automated calibration. Though that subjectively, second point of motivation of the fluorescence becomes a thing of the past. The EUROPattern Microscope Live is also really easy to operate. At the front, you can find one switch on/off button for the microscope. On each side, you see 2 handles for the transportation, and the loading of the slides is realized with the motorized cross table for one carrier with 50 fields. Also, the installation, it's very easy. You see here the look for secure transportation, and just one USB 3.0 cable for all connection. It's all. The excellent support of the EUROPattern for the evaluation and archiving of the results was already described. One must not underestimate the advantages of EUROPattern for communication in the laboratory environment, intuitive and error-free input of the results, thanks for patient, substrate, and biochip recognition. And now I would like to present you the graphical user interface of the EUROPattern 4.0 for the final results of immunofluorescence. You can find here everything you need for the successful diagnostic. Here on the left side top you see dilution and substrates area used for now. Here you can find some actions point. For example, you can add some requests, switch color channel, show the low light image, show the controls, activate manual controls, take picture, show to image atlas and to compare image atlas with current images, restore classify results, or also, if necessary, reclassify. Here you see the slide and lot information, but also the position of the samples on the slide. Here down you can find patient details and history, also with images if available. On the right side you see request of the sample, in this case HEP2 and liver. And here you can find results, automatically results or also manual results. See, you can find here the samples are positive. The classifier could recognize nuclear layer and the titer 1 to 2560. Navigation between controls and samples can be found here, and the last points close to the whole image of this biochip, you see two buttons for verification or for repeating. For more information about EUROLab office, please check our homepage or call us. Now, I would like to present you the list of substrates for the launch of the EUROPattern microscope live. ANA, HEP2 and HEP2010 cells, ANCA with ethanol-fixed, formalin-fixed granulocytes and ethanol-fixed granulocytes together with HEP2 cells, Cretidian Lucea and Cretidian Lucea sensitive for cleft testing, some articles for hepatology like monkey liver, rat kidney and rat stomach, gastroenterology articles with esophagus and monkey liver, and several cell-based assays, for example, for neurology. The substrates in red can be also evaluated automatically, and I would like to explain you how it works now. We are starting with the most important diagnostic for us, ANA, and here you can find the possibility for automatic ANA results interpretation. We can recognize 9 different patterns in all pattern combinations, and we are just one system on the market who can recognize dense fine specklet, nuclear membrane, and AMA. Here on the left side in this table, you see the labels of the patterns. On the right side, you see number. These numbers are from ICAP. ICAP is the international consensus of ANA patterns. You can find the information about it on www.anapatterns.org. And here you can find the special nomenclature and classification tree, but also very nice description of the pattern. And if you have the registration, you can also make some tests and learn a lot about ANA diagnostic. Now I would like to present you the current ICAP tree with pattern. Some of them are also group of patterns. Some of them are brown, it means competent level. Some of them are green, it means expert level report. You see it here. And some of them have these cells inside, it means metaphaser plate. It's also important for the diagnostic, it's stained. And now in the red cycles, you see the pattern that could be recognized by our systems. And you see it's all competent level for the ANA. It's also MA and nuclear membrane, nuclear envelope. The story is like this. This ICAP tree and competent level, expert level patterns are living structure. It's changed a lot, and will be also change a lot in the future. And the ICAP committee discuss every time to put also nuclear membrane to competent level, and our system is already prepared for it. Now I would like to show you just that not just ANA can be recognized, but also analyzed by our system, but also Cretidia lucea, ANCA, liver red and kidney red. And before I start to explain how it works with other substrates, I would like to show you our biochip technology. This biochip technology, developed by us and patented by us, allow to give you multiplexing for the immunofluorescence. Due to special activation technique, cover glasses are modified in such a way that very different substrates can be coated, tissues, antigen dots, and cells. And these cover glasses coated with biological substrates are cut mechanically to the biochip and can be put together in just one field. It means we need just one drop of blood to give you a different diagnostics. All of the substrates and cells, and it means we give you multiplexing for the immunofluorescence. This multiplexing is used very successful, for example, for ANCA results interpretation, and here you can find one of our mosaic with 3 biochips. It means ethanol fixed granulocytes, very important for ANCA diagnostic, formalin fixed granulocytes, important to recognize it's atypical or not, but also have 2 cells with granulocytes ethanol fixed. And based on these 3 biochips, we can recognize for you C ANCA, P ANCA, ANCA atypical or negative. The other example is Critidia. In this case, we have in the cell, this is one cell, up to 3 structure that could be bright. It could be nucleus, like here, basal body, like here, or kinetoplast in the middle. The problem is, just if kinetoplast is bright, you have to report positive. It means you have to recognize kinetoplast exactly. And also the problem is sometimes and a lot of times you see in anti-DNA test a lot of brightness. It's very high theta in a lot of situations, like also in this image, and you see nothing, you see no structure. For this reason, our system check 2 pictures. The first one for the data calculation, the second one with less exposure time for the recognizing of the structure. And now you see it's kinetoplast is dark. We have to report here negative. Also, good example for our biochip technology, liver and kidney results interpretation based for hepatology. Based on rat kidney, you can recognize here AMA and LKM-like. You are not sure it's LKM or not. And here you can recognize ANA and LKM-like. And based of 2 biochips, you can say it's LKM, anti-LKM, liver, kidney, macrosomes. Now I would like to explain you how it works, how our classifier works. In the past, we used a special methods for the classification, NN classification. NN means next neighbor. In this method, the correlation of feature values from reference pictures and samples image was detected and analyzed. Here you see one image with 2 features, feature 1, feature 2. And you see a lot of points, green and red. These points are our ground truth. It means we are very sure all these green points are speckled, and the feature 1 will be in this area. And all of these points are blue points are centromere. And for feature 1, it will be this area, and feature 2, this area. The black point is our new unknown cells. And we are just looking with the distance formula, what is your next neighbor? And in this case, the most next neighbor are green. It means it should be speckled. And here you can find how we analyze this distance. And in real life, we use not just 2 features for our cells, we use more than 180 different features. This feature was founded manually. We wrote this code in C++, and it works very well a long time. But the progress are going also without us or meet us, and we are find, like everybody, that now a lot of new developing was happening in the artificial intelligence and new methods like deep convolutional neural networks and methods of deep learning are very popular. We tried to use for our substrates, and it works very well. For this reason, our new classifier will be based on deep learning. The people ask why it's deep learning, because you don't have everything under control. You have under control your input layer, your ground truth, and you have under control your results output layer. But you don't know which convolution, was used for the learning, with which hidden layer you have. For this reason, the name is deep, with some deep information. We not just use this deep learning. In this case, it's TensorFlow network from the Google. We use also some image processing tools, for example, OpenCV. It's very, very popular, made by MIT in US. And we use also special hardware to calculating of our results. In this case, it's a GPU from NVIDIA CUDA technology. And now I would like to present you a very, very nice fact. On the left side, here and here, you can find immunofluorescence image. On the right side, you can find how the computer see it. It means these right side images are perfect match for the pattern on the left side. It's maybe not helpful for you for the diagnostic, but it's also very, very nice to know how the tools see our world, how artificial intelligence works. So, back to the classification. Based on this NN classification in the past or deep learning, we calculate results per cells, and after them we have a huge rule-based tree to calculate for you results per substrate, results per dilution, and results per Sierra. And like I already described, the first step is deep learning. Other steps are written in root-based decision language that is very, very popular in AI, Lua. For the people who have not so much connection to the AI, I prepared some famous example for Lua, and all of them are from the game industry. Civilization 6, World of Warcraft, SimCity 4, and Dota 1 and 2, all these games and more other games use Lua also for description of the characters to give this to the games artificial intelligence. And now back to our immunofluorescence test. It's also was very important for our last motivation step to give you the guarantee that it was everything correct in the diagnostic, that we give you just never give you wrong negative results. And for this reason, in the past, we use counter staining. Here you see two channels on this image, diagnostic relevant fins channel in green and some red information. Now I split the channel and present just red for you. It's probidium iodide here. Probidium iodide is binding on DNA. It means you can recognize very, very well interface cell, mitosis cells. You can make segmentation and image processing based on it, analyze the specific fluorescence, and give the correct results. Now we also try to use new deep learning methods also for segmentations, and it works also very nice without counter staining. Here just some very, very bad examples. One of them is with a lot of bright fluorescence, and we don't know in specific or unspecific here, and we have a lot of cytoplasmatic fluorescence. But we try to recognize the nucleus here, and here you can find the image created by computer, and you see all interface cells are recognized very, very well, but also mitosis cells. It means now we can work without counter staining for very, very good diagnostic. Other example is negative example. You see here, maybe you see here just some structure, but I guess you can't recognize any cells. But in this background, the computer can find the cells for you. And you see here also a lot of mitosis cells and a lot of interface cells that can be used for the diagnostic. And based on this segmentation, we can analyze the green channel in the cells and say, yeah, this is a good mitosis cells for the diagnostic. The shape is correct. On these two are correct cells for the diagnostic for the interface. On these three cells can't be used because it's a wrong state, and here the shape is not correct. For all this analysis, we have also to accelerate our hardware. It means in the future, all our computer with the microscope will use a special GPU graphic card from NVIDIA like this. And maybe somebody of you will ask me, it's great developing, but is it a generation change? I will say no. Both systems, the EUROPattern Microscope 1.5 and EUROPattern Microscope Live, have special features that are essential for certain situations. And here I would like to show you a table, comparison table with some key feature for the EUROPattern Microscope 1.5 and some key feature for the EUROPattern Microscope Live. For the first system, capacity is very huge and very important, and variability of the slides. Also, oculars are optional and different kinds of objectives. In this case, we work without counter staining with normal kits, and we are much faster. But please not forget, this 13 second, it was fastest system on the market before EUROPattern Microscope Live was introduced, and here now we are more than 6 times faster. Thank you very much for your attention. You are great. Maybe we can change to Oliver for the question and answer session.
Yeah, I should be back. Thank you, Dr. Enns. That was very insightful. It is nice to see that some of those, sometimes used as buzzwords, artificial intelligence, deep learning, neural networks, and so on, actually finds true application, meaningful application in those products. And it's nice to see the evolution of algorithms that initially were handwritten, now turns into something that is developing by itself, more or less. Obviously, there's some control over this, which brings me to the first question people have, because sometimes people fear the idea of the black box, right, with the neural networks. So one individual asked, does the microscope keep learning in the diagnostic laboratory? I would imagine that they are asking this since they might anticipate that the results might change over time. Is that a concern people should have?
I guess you mean self-learning system, yeah?
Yes,
yeah.
I think so.
It sounds like, okay. It's a very, we hear about the question a lot, but no, we do not allow us to use a self-learning system for our classifier for a lot of reasons. Each version of our classifier is verified and validated in our teams. And we give also to our customer special performance protocols with the data, how good is this classifier, how good is the system. If we are allowed to use self-learning system, it could be possible that the system run to learn wrong results with not exactly correct ground truth, and we would have it not under control.
Okay, so in summary, we use all the deep learning before the validation and when we develop it, but then once we put it to the customer, it is closed. So it's stuck in time and only official updates will change something.
Exactly.
Okay. The most obvious question actually was, when is the new microscope available?
The new microscope available is new microscope. It's available right now. Sorry. We made release on 15th of March, 2 weeks ago, and if you are interested, if the customers are interested, we are very happy to present it. Also, all our subsidiaries and distributors are informed, and we'll be happy to show it to you. And you can find also a lot of information on our homepage, in our blog, and it's also a video about new system on YouTube. It's available now.
Okay, excellent. So very timely as far as this presentation is concerned. Another individual asked, on your biochip slides, you showed the combination of granulocytes and Hep2 cells. Why do you combine these in one slide? What's the advantage?
It's very good diagnostic samples. It's a lot of advantages because you see in the same time the information about your autoantibodies about, sorry, you see on the same time granulocyte antibodies and ANA interferences. And you can recognize if you have atypical, if you have ANA. And also we use for, everybody use for ANCA immunofluorescence test for screening dilution. The dilution, the titer are much lower than for ANA. 1 to 10 is typical for ANCA, 1 to 80, 40, and 100, and depends on country, it's typical for ANA. It means you are also much more sensitive on ANCA slides. But also very important, these results, if you see ANA interferences on this biochip, you know it's ANA, but you can't use these patterns for ANA diagnostic. It's recommended to repeat it with the HEP cells without granulocytes, because based on this ethanol fixing, maybe you see different pattern for the same autoantibodies.
So the HEP2 cells are more like an integrated adequate control for the anchor testing, basically.
Exactly, Dr. Zenchak.
Okay. Another question was, does the computer report the patterns with the ICAP code? I think they mean the AC code, AC1 through I think 29 at this point, or 0. Actually, 0 is negative, and it also exists. Yeah. So
yes. Yes, exactly. We report with ICAP code, and also, it depends on country, we can put translation for you in German, in Mandarin, in Spain, and so on.
Yeah, a global company, global language set, right? Another individual asked something that I was also interested in is, can you elaborate on the functionality of the image atlas? I think this pertains to the EUROLab Office software. So is that something that is filled by the company, by the vendor, by the laboratory? So what could be done with this image atlas?
Both. It's actually a very interesting point that also explains in our webinar for the EUROLab Office, but maybe I can also say some words about it. We put a lot of images for ANA, for ANCA diagnostic, for also for cell-based assays with a different pattern. And in image chart, the images of image atlas can be compared with your actual images for exactly diagnostic. But also, if you make some research in your laboratory, you can put your images inside, make some tags, and use it for your publications later, or for education of your staff.
Well, education, I think, is an important point. You mentioned it as well, right? With the academy. I also like viewing those ANAs or anchors or whatever patterns you may have in front of a screen. Makes for a much better education scenario than the old school microscopes. The question here, how we do calibration using the machine, like accuracy and precision?
It's a different kind of calibration, and I don't know what it means. It means calibration of LED of microscope, calibration of the classifier, or it's not described. Or
that's a good point. So maybe the person who asked that could maybe clarify the question, and then we are more than happy. We got plenty of time to address it then later.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I can explain in full of it. The accuracy and precision of the classifier can be found in the performance protocols, and all our products have it. And in normal case, it's something like 95% accuracy. The accuracy of the LED calibration, fluorescence normal, it's based on this fluorescence normal. We have less than 1% variability between our system. And it's a very huge number, because in normal scientific word for immunofluorescence, you have until 15%. You can imagine.
All right, so maybe that already answers that question. If not, please feel free to send a more elaborate question right after that one, so that we can address that. Another question came in here. when will there be updates available, for instance, to differentiate more patterns? Will the current users get those updates too?
We plan to make 2-3 times update per year. It means every quarter our customers will receive a new update with more substrates that can be classified and more patterns on, for example, for a diagnostic.
Excellent. Another question, how does the red filter help us on the diagnostic or recognized cell morphology?
For the manual diagnostic, it's not so helpful, but for the computer diagnostic, it's very, very helpful because based on this information, we can recognize exactly the position of the pattern. We see nucleus, we see nucleoli, and in this case, we can exactly say this pattern it's on the nuclei, this pattern is on cytoplasma, and so on.
Okay. Q4, I think this might be related to the first question, the question about what self-learning question, let me hear. Are there any publications available discussing the concordance of EUROPattern microscope versus reference laboratory results? So maybe I would think that this may be like a twofold question. Number one, is there maybe a manual versus automated reading, or secondly, has there already been some publications or the publications in the work with the new microscope that show the accuracy or the concordance of results?
Yes, it's a lot of different publications available from several parts of the world, from China, from Japan, from USA. Also, the guys from LabCorp make a very, very nice presentation in Dresden, I guess in the same year as we presented EUROPattern Microscope Live, and show us how good the system works. Yeah. Maybe the person who asked about publication can write to us, automation-pm@euroimmun.de, and I would be very happy to send a big number of our publications about the classifier.
Perfect. Are we able to view image atlas from labs around the world or just within your own lab? That's a good question. More of a networking question, right? So I think what they mean is, do you have access to other atlases globally? Like one lab is sharing their atlas globally with other labs.
Not yet, but maybe a very, very good point for us to, it's a nice idea. It could be realized, but not realized yet.
So the EUROPattern becoming a community tool between the experts to share, exchange information. That's a good idea, actually. That's a very good idea. A little puzzled with this one because I think maybe there's some context missing. The question about self-learning may have been based on cell division or cellovision. I think it's cell division or cellovision used for peripheral blood smears. Does that ring a bell?
Sorry.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Another question here. Will the artificial intelligence at some point in time have the capability to also assess other substrates? I think you talked about Hep cells, you talked about granulocytes, you talked about liver, kidney. Will there be things in the future coming? Other things?
For sure. A lot of other substrates will be coming, and this year we are calculate with, for example, stomach rate for hepatology. But maybe also a lot of other substrates this year.
Yes. Goodness. I mean, and that's something too that previously was not possible, right? So another question here is, do you have a IFA quality control available in the market?
Actually, I guess it's Reagan's question, but yes, we have positive controls, negative controls can be found in our catalog, or please ask our responsibility cells.
Yep. So let me double check here. This is the first questions. I think, believe it or not, we were able to address all of the questions, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
because there was quite a bit of content that we addressed on top of the presentation. So unless I see another question popping up in the next 2 seconds, I think, yeah, that was a very insightful presentation, Dr. Enns. I think a nice story, a nice vision that came true, that now can address other laboratories that previously did not have the chance to automate their IFA. So that is great news for the greater landscape of diagnostic laboratories. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else watching this right now, either in the live or re-live as well. Have a wonderful day. Take good care of yourselves and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zenscheid, also for you. Have a nice day. And thank you for
Bye,
your time.
everyone.
Bye-bye.